All right, so you uncovered some pretty fascinating stuff about KOTOR, huh? We're about to dive deep into the mysteries and secrets of Knights of the Old Republic.
Yeah, sounds exciting. I'm ready when you are.
Absolutely. Let's get into it. So, let's talk about Revan, the main character. One of the things that always stood out to me was how the game lets you shape their identity, their choices even, their gender, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And it was pretty unique for its time, the way the game kept Revan's gender ambiguous. Players could really project themselves onto the character.
Exactly. You felt like you were a part of the story, not just playing it.
You got that right.
But here's the thing.
Oh.
The expanded Star Wars universe later decided to clear up any confusion and decided that Revan was, in fact, male.
Right. They did solidify that later on.
Now, don't get me wrong, it doesn't take away from the experience of playing the game at all. It's more like a fun fact for hardcore fans.
I'd say so, yeah.
But it does make you think about how games have evolved, you know? Back then, letting you choose, that was a pretty big deal.
Yeah, it was a big deal. It really added to that feeling of immersion and personal connection with the story.
And speaking of the story, did you know that the original ending for the light side path was going to be totally different?
Really? No, I didn't.
Instead of that definitive ending we got, the writers actually toyed with the idea of sending Raven into exile.
Exile, wow. What a what-if moment, huh?
Right. It's like, what would that have meant for Raven's story? Would we have gotten a sequel?
Maybe even a multi-part saga, imagine.
No, man, a multi-part KOTOR saga. Don't even get me started. I would play the heck out of that. But, okay, get this. As if an alternate ending wasn't a big enough secret, there's a whole planet just gone.
Gone, completely removed from the game.
Vanished. It's called Sleheren, and it was supposed to be this incredible hub of crime, industry, you name it. Now, the interesting part is, it's still there in the game files.
Oh, really? Like a ghost world, just sitting there.
Like a digital ghost town. And you can actually find descriptions, even bits of dialogue that were supposed to be used there. It's clear that Sleheren was meant to be a pretty important location.
It really shows you the scope of what they were planning and how much thought went into creating this universe.
Exactly. And, it makes you appreciate those details that did make it into the game even more. Did you know that the developers actually created a whole coding system for Zaelbar's Wookiee language?
Wait, really? You're kidding?
Nope, they didn't just use gibberish. They actually went to the effort of crafting a system for Shuri-Wook.
That level of detail is insane. I mean, it just speaks to the dedication they had.
It's incredible. They could have easily just gone with some random growls and roars, but they wanted to create a truly authentic experience.
It's what makes KOTOR so special, I think. That and the fact that you can choose your lightsaber color.
Oh yeah, speaking of lightsabers, remember how in KOTOR you could get a purple one? Well, that was actually supposed to be exclusive to Revan.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that. It makes sense, though. It definitely makes it more unique.
Right. Another one of those little details that adds to the whole mystique of the character. And while we're on the subject of things that could have been, remember the combat system. The D20, turn-based mechanics.
Yeah, classic D&D stuff. I loved that part of it.
Well, guess what? It was almost a real-time action RPG.
Hold on, really? Wow, that would have been a totally different experience. More action-packed, I imagine.
Can you imagine experiencing that story, those choices, all in real time?
It's wild to think about.
Talk about a game changer. I mean, it's fascinating how these small decisions can completely reshape the way we experience a game.
Absolutely. And speaking of game-changing decisions, we can't forget about the voice acting in KOTOR.
Oh, are you talking about how they had a full cast voicing every single line of dialogue?
Exactly. That was pretty revolutionary for an RPG at the time. Most games used text boxes and maybe a few grunts and groans, but KOTOR went all out.
And it paid off big time, right? I mean, hearing those characters, their emotions, it just drew you in so much deeper.
It's what made the stories so powerful. You felt like you were really there interacting with these characters.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Before we wrap this deep dive up, we have to talk about some of the rumors surrounding KOTOR. Did you ever hear about the whole cut romance subplot?
What?
With Carth Onasi. Apparently, there are bits and pieces of it in the game files, enough to confirm that the developers were at least considering it at one point.
A Carth romance option, huh? That'd been interesting. I wonder why they decided to scrap it.
That's the million credit question, isn't it? I guess some mysteries are destined to remain unsolved, huh? Who knows what other secrets might be buried deep within KOTOR's code, waiting for some intrepid gamer to uncover them.
It really makes you wonder, what other stories might be hidden in those files? Lost characters, abandoned quests, maybe even an entire planet, like Slayharan.
Exactly. So, to everyone listening, next time you fire up Kyoto Arar, remember, there's a whole galaxy of secrets just below the surface, just waiting to be found. Until next time, keep exploring.